guys, it's Olivia and welcome back to Live in Literature. Thank you so much for all the love and support I received in my last video, and if you have not seen it yet, feel free to head on over to my channel to check it out. Well guys, I am so glad so many of you guys enjoyed last week's video about Book Boyfriend's Himbo edition. So glad you guys enjoyed that one. It was really fun for me to make, and if you guys are really loving that kind of content, please feel free to let me know down in the comments. But before we jump into today's video, I just want to let's address the elephant in the room, okay? I have merch. I am wearing, I kid you not, the cutest Throne of Glass merch ever. I am obsessed. I literally just got this in the mail today. And I know what you guys are all thinking. Like, you ordered a sweater right before summer. Yes, I did, people, because as some of you might know, which actually most of you probably don't know, I'm going to Ireland later this summer, and I'm going to need something cozy to wear while I'm searching for my fae husband out in the fairy realm.
What are you talking about? You're delusional.
So, moving past that, I ordered this incredible to whatever end sweater from Rebel and Fleur. I'll be tagging them right below. Rebel and Fleur, amazing. They have such quality merchandise for us book girlies and boys and girls and gays and theys and all of us, okay? The best merch ever, and I'm literally obsessed. It's so cozy, so soft. They aren't even paying me to say any of this. I know. Rebel and Fleur, if you want to sponsor this video, please hit me up.
Money, please.
I'm just here to promote this because it's literally so comfortable, so cozy, and I'm literally obsessed with Throne of Glass, as literally the entire world knows at this point because I don't shut up about Rowan Whitethorn. Sorry, not sorry.
Yeah, it's getting them to shut up, that's the trick.
But literally, like, I'm freaking obsessed. If you can't see the full sweatshirt, I'll post a photo in it, but seriously, like, I'm obsessed. It's like one of my most favorite pieces I've ever bought for myself of like bookish merch. And this piece seriously like means the world to me. So go check out Rebel and Fleur if you're wanting to get some little bit of like some Sarah J. Maas merch, some bookish merch of any kind. They are amazing, ship really quickly, and honestly like such good quality. So everyone should go check them out. As you've seen from the title of today's video, this video is titled Books with the Craziest Plot Twists Ever. I want to give a small caveat to the title. It's a little bit of a clickbait. Sorry, it's a little bit of a clickbait. Because to be so freaking for real, and you guys already know what the caveat's gonna be. You guys already know because you know me. If this was a fair and just world, I would just be talking about, you guessed it, Sarah J. Maas books. Okay, to be honest, I think the plot twists that we've seen in Throne of Glass, ACOTAR, and Crescent City, like, blow the minds of the masses more than any other book could ever do. In my opinion. But I'm not here to recommend only Sarah J. Maas, okay? So because this is not a fair and just world, I will be recommending other books today. But just so you know, personally, in my opinion, I think the best plot twists of all time come from a Miss Sarah J. Maas book, not from anything else. A Miss Sarah J. Maas book, okay?
I'm right, you're wrong. And there's nothing you can do about it.
But these ones that I'm going to recommend for you are absolutely insane. Like, these are some of my favorite books. And obviously, I'm not going to tell you what the plot twists are. And then you might even be thinking to yourself, if she says that these books are books with the craziest plot twists, does that mean that you're going to figure it out beforehand? Maybe. You might. Who knows? I mean, personally for me, like, I think it's good to know. I mean, I'd like to read a book with, like, the craziest plot twist ever. And these ones that I'm going to recommend for you today are literally amazing. I'm such a big fan. I'll give you my star rating for all of them. And I just am obsessed. Like, I love a plot twist. Like, I remember, like, from the earliest days. And I wouldn't even say this is a plot twist, but this was just, like, oh no, it was a cliffhanger. It was a cliffhanger, not a plot twist, but still. Let's just like go down memory lane. I remember when I was a wee young lass in like 9th grade probably, and I was reading Percy Jackson, the Lost Heroes series for the first time. And I remember the ending of Mark of Athena when Percy and Annabeth are like hanging, and like if you haven't read that book series, like sorry, spoiler alert. But like they're hanging like off that cliff and they jump into Tartarus. It was like the last thing I expected to happen, and I was literally gagged for a real one.
Honestly, I am a little very gagged.
Find you a man who will go to Tartarus for you. Percy Jackson, I love you.
It's my man. Everybody talking about my man. My man.
But I digress. I love a plot twist. I love a book with a plot twist. I love something that's like really intense and scary and interesting. And so these books I'm going to recommend for you today have some of the best plot twists that I have ever read. So let's get started. The first one I want to talk about is one that I've talked about a multitude of times on this channel. It is The Silent Patient by my Alex Michaelis, whatever. It's The Silent Patient. We know her, we love her. This, I would say, is one of the biggest thrillers on the market. I think it came out last year or the year before. This thriller, like, she slays. This thriller goes crazy. This was one of my 5-star reads for 2023. Like, this book goes crazy. And I'm not a thriller girl. I don't really read thrillers. They're not like my favorite. Like I'll dabble every now and again. Don't get me wrong, like I love, but like fantasy and historical fiction is kind of my bread and butter. So I'll dabble every now and again. And I'm so glad that I dabbled in this one. This plot is incredible. The plot of this book goes absolutely crazy. The book is about a young woman named Alicia Berenson, and essentially she's a famous artist living in the UK. And one day her photographer husband, who's also very famous, just as famous as she is, comes home from work and she shoots him 5 times in the face and then never says a word again.
This means my husband isn't crazy. Hooray!
So they conclude it as like, when they take her to court and stuff, they concluded that she like went crazy. She has not spoken since. And so there's a therapist working with her like in the facility that she's in to try to get her to talk and like speak her truth. And it's a crazy thriller. But the plot twist in this book is sick. It's diabolical, twisted, gutted, rotted. I can't even believe. It's one of the craziest things I've ever read. And literally there's a reason why I deemed it 5 stars on my reading list for 2023. This book goes crazy. Everyone needs to read it. Next, we're doing an old favorite that like I quite literally can't shut up about. I always talk about this book because I just cannot get over how insanely intricate and how insanely bloody, messy, like, what's that word? Morally gray this book is. Like this book is, the whole book is morally gray. And the book's serious, so it's a duology. And I have to recommend All of Us Villains by, it's Amanda Foody and Christine Lynn Harriman. So Amanda Foody and Christine Lynn Harriman joined up to write a book together. And it's a YA technically, but I will be honest, like this book is for everyone. Like All of Us Villains and then the second one, All of Our Demise, they go together. The plot twists kind of go throughout both of these books, but I'm freaking obsessed with this duology, guys. Like, I cannot hype it up enough. If you're looking for icky, morally gray, like black souls, like I'm talking like morally black sometimes. Like people have been talking about like no longer talking about morally gray. They want morally black. And I feel like morally black lives in this book.
He's a murderer. He's a monster.
He's perfect.
Like, I feel like she does. I feel like she's in the room with us, morally black. Are you in the room? I'm serious. Like, this book goes crazy. Essentially, it's like if Harry Potter met the Hunger Games. Essentially, the plot of the book is that 6 families live in this small town in Ilvernaith, and one family every like century gets to control the world's magic. And so they send 6 people to compete, of like their younger generation, to compete and see who wins the world's magic supply. It's very wealthy, it's very interesting, and so they send these 6 people in there to like, you know, battle it out to the death. And my gosh, like it's gory, it's bloody, it's amazing. And there's curses and magic and like wizard vibes, but also like Hunger Games vibes. Like they are fighting to the death. And it's incredible, like incredibly fun to read and incredibly twisted. Like the plot twist at the end, and then in book 2, you're just like, wait, this book literally just went in the craziest direction. Like you think the book's going one way, and then it ends and you start book 2 and you're like, oh, this took a massive pivot in the other direction. It's just completely unexpected, so intense, and I'm just absolutely obsessed. Everyone needs to read this book. It's so good. The next book is no obvious shock to anyone who knows me right now. I'm just freaking obsessed. It is Serpents in the Wings of Night by Carissa Broadbent. Guys, I cannot stop talking about Carissa Broadbent. I'm freaking obsessed with her. Guys, she is like the closest thing that I have found to a Sarah J. Maas book.
And I don't say this lightly.
And listen, Carissa, like I hope you take that in the highest compliment and know that like I think that you are in the God level tier of writers, okay? Like I'm obsessed with you. Please, like answer my phone calls. Please, please, please. Hello? I'm just freaking obsessed with this book and I cannot get enough. I cannot eat it up enough of how much I love the like vampire aspects in this book and the grittiness of it all. Very morally gray and morally black, as I was talking about before. I just cannot get enough. The plot of this one, obviously we have an amazing like human woman named Araya who's adopted into like this kingdom of the vampires. The king of the vampires, he essentially like, it's like he adopts her as his daughter. She wants to enter this essentially, what's it called? It's like a competition called the Kajari. Essentially, the winner of the Kajari is granted one wish, and I think you know what she wants to wish for, because she's human. She'd like to be a vampire. Anyways, along the way, she meets a handsome vampire man named Rain. They end up teaming up during the Kajari. This book is enemies to lovers. It's intense. It's hot. It's sexy. And the plot twist at the end breaks my literal heart shattered me, broke me from the inside out, truly so unexpected, and I lived for it. I was living for it. There's 2 moments of breakage at the end that have a like plot twist-ishness to them. The first break is cruel. It's gutted, it's rotted, it's unreal. The second one is like, wait, whoa, what's going on? It's like shock and awe. Like you can't even believe it's even happening before your eyes. This book is extremely well written. It's definitely up there for me in like the god level tier of books of SJM. Like so well written. If you are looking for something new and fun and like so fantasy to read, and you maybe want to enter your vampire era with me, Serpents in the Wings of Night is the way to go. Insanely good. The next book I want to recommend is a fabulous YA fantasy, one that is like taken the hearts of many people. It's a great trilogy. It is called The Prison Healer by Lynette Nani. And The Prison Healer is fabulous. I'm absolutely obsessed.
I'm fabulous. I'm fabulous.
The Prison Healer is like a classic like YA fantasy where you're just like, oh, you could just eat it up with a fork and knife. It's easy to digest, but it's also like high stakes. Essentially, the plot of the book is about a young girl named Kiva Meriden. She is essentially like a forced like healer in the prison called Zalendov Prison. No one goes out. No one's allowed to escape Zalendov. She's essentially in the prison as a healer. She heals patients, but she's also a prisoner there. Anyways, one day the rebel queen of a fighting force is brought into the prison, and basically the one thing is that the prison healers or the prison has asked her to keep her alive because for long enough for her to endure the trials set before her as rebel queen. And eventually like Kiva realizes that the queen cannot perform these trials, so Kiva goes in her stead and performs these trials like in the prison for everyone to watch and see. And this book has an insane plot twist at the end that I don't know how I didn't see it coming, but it literally blew my mind. Like, the plot twist in this book is so insane. I, like, literally don't know how I didn't pick up on it, but I'm so here for it. Like, it was literally crazy. I'm obsessed with this book. It's literally so good. This is like a classic YA fantasy, start of a budding romance as well going on inside the prison. Again, another plot twist in that direction, but like regardless, it's really, really fun, really fast paced, really fun to read. If you're looking for like a quick trilogy, just like a fun YA trilogy, this one is one to read. Like The Prison Healer, extremely well written, and I really, really enjoy it. Cannot recommend it enough. And last but certainly not least, a book I cannot stop talking about, and I need you people to seriously read this one because I'm going crazy inside my own head with this plot twist at the end. We have What the River Knows by Isabella Ibanez. What the River Knows. I cannot talk enough about how much I love this book. It's fantasy meets historical fiction meets The Mummy meets Egyptian archaeology. Like, I cannot get enough of this book. I cannot get enough. I am freaking obsessed.
I need more. I need.
The book is so well written. This was, I think, honestly, it was in my top 5 best reads of 2023 last year. Like, this one kills. And book 2 comes out later this year, and I cannot freaking wait because the plot twist that happens at the end of this book is crazy. It's crazy, people. It's loca. Like, you need to read this book.
Bella! Where the hell have you been, Loca?
I know I've talked about this book so much so far this year, but I cannot stop talking about it. Again, the plot. We already know this is about a young woman named Inez Oliveira. She lives in Argentina. Her parents spend half their year in Egypt doing archaeological digs, like in the Egyptian pyramids. They spend the other half with her. She finds out that they've quote unquote died in Egypt, and she goes to Egypt to find her parents and figure out what happened to them. She finds her uncle, who's also an archaeologist, was also kind of looking out for them while they were there. He has a young, not a page boy, but he's not a manservant either. I don't know what to call Wit. He's his second hand. Wit helps her uncle with stuff. Anyways, Wit comes to pick her up. He's like, hey, get back on the boat. And she's like, nah, dude, I'm staying here. And they end up in a tussle, enemies to lovers vibes. Wit and Inez, ooh, it's so good. It's so good. The chemistry between them is so hot. Anyways, and it goes into the struggle of what is going on with the Egyptian politics and archaeology and in the pyramids, where are her parents and what happened to them, and this budding romance with Wit, her enemy, but also, her lover. Anyways, this book seriously kills. It kills, and I cannot get over how insane the plot twist was. It was so unexpected and just I didn't see it coming for a freaking mile. It was like a freight train hit me. I was shook. Absolutely shook. I could not even believe the way this one ended. Ended on the most crazy cliffhanger of all time. So intense, fun, fast-paced, and an excellent book and an excellent debut book for this author. Like, seriously, I cannot get enough. You have got to read this one. It is so good. So that is all the books that I have to recommend for you guys today. So I hope that you enjoyed this video. And if you did, do not forget to like, comment, subscribe to the Living Literature YouTube channel. I forgot to mention that all the books that I recommended in today's video were 5-star reads, okay? 5-star reads. These are all incredible 5-star reads with the most insane plot twists of all time. Again, I hope you guys enjoyed today's video, and I love you guys so much, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye!